कुदरत के सब बंदे और एक नूर से सब जग उपजिया, कौन भले क्या कौन मंदे। आप कौन होते हैं उसे डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करने वाले? हम तो सब उसकी संतानें हैं। कहने के लिए हम सिख हैं, आप मुसलमान हैं, आप बौद्ध हैं, आप हिंदू हैं, लेकिन हम सब उसकी संतानें हैं। तो उन्होंने क्या किया, इन दोनों साथियों को ले करके 40,000 किलोमीटर का किलोमीटर तो होते नहीं थे, 40,000 मील का सफर उन्होंने खाली हिंदुस्तान ही नहीं पूरे विश्व में, मैं अगर मुल्कों का नाम लूंगा तो बहुत समय लग जाएगा और अब मुझे मेरे सामने बहुत लोगों ने बोलना भी है, पूरे विश्व का कह सकता हूं यूरोप का भ्रमण किया और जाके केवल और केवल मानवता का संदेश दिया। जो भ्रमित लोग हो चुके थे, जो धर्म के नाम पर गुमराह थे, तो जब उनको संदेश दिया, तो जब ये दोनों साथी साथ साथ चलते थे तो देखने वाले कह देते थे कि देखो कि हिंदू के साथ मुसलमान जा रहा है, हिंदू के साथ मुसलमान जा रहा है। लेकिन आप जैसे बुद्धिजीवियों ने देख के कहा नहीं, ये तो गीता के साथ कुरान जा रहा है, ये तो गीता के साथ कुरान जा रहा है।
जैसा कि भगवान बुद्ध के धम्म के अनुसार उसमें 5 बातें बताई हैं कि मैं प्राणी हत्या नहीं करेंगे। हम लोग अगर कोई भी धर्म का हो, कोई भी जाति का हो, उसको ये चीज़ें जरूर याद रहनी चाहिए। हमारे अब भारतवर्ष में रह करके हम लोग भारतवासी हैं, तो इन 5 का ध्यान रखते हुए जानना चाहिए। कहा गया कि मैं प्राणी हत्या से दूर रहेंगे, अदिन्ना दाना कहा जाता मैं चोरी नहीं करेंगे, कामेश मिथ्याचारा मैं काम मिथ्याचार से व्रत रहूंगा, मूसावादा मैं मुंह से होने वाली चुगली झूठ बकवास ये नहीं करेंगे। फिर उसके बाद सुरा मेरा मज प्रमाद अट्ठाना, हम लोग कच्ची पक्की शराब ऐसा ग्रहण नहीं करेंगे। ये कहा जाता हमारा भारतवर्ष ये सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था किसी समय। यहाँ सभी लोग एक जुट होकर के चला करते थे, किसी के प्रति जाति पात भेदभाव यहाँ नहीं हुआ करता था। बहुत अच्छे से लोग हंसते खेलते रहते थे और किसी समय ऐसा आया कि ये देश गुलाम हो गया और हम इस देश के गुलाम हो चुके थे। इसीलिए देश को आजाद करने के लिए हमारे जितने भी धर्म गुरु यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, सभी लोगों का इसमें एक मिलजुल करके उनके समय कर ऐसा हम लोगों ने देश को आज़ाद कराया और बाकी और भी लोग थे आज़ाद करने के लिए।
That development can only be guaranteed if there is peace and communal harmony in our country and in our world. And peace and communal harmony can only be established when we, all the followers of different religion, make sure that we ourselves and we will ask our children to follow our respective religion in true letter and spirit. Because it is an established fact that that a person who follow his or her religion in true letter and spirit, naturally he becomes a kind man and kind woman, and he naturally started to respect all other religion. Because if we will follow our religion, if we take the example of any religion, you will find that each and every prophet and each and every religious scripture has asked its followers not only to follow his and her religion, but at the same time each and every prophet and each and every religious scripture of every religion have asked their followers to respect the other religion also. In today's world, it is the basic responsibility of we the religious leaders to make sure that on the first step, we tell our followers the commonalities between and the similarities between each and every religion. For example, if you take the example from Islam, Islam very clearly says that al-khalq wa ya'lullah, which means that all humankind, all mankind is one divine family. The same message has been given by Hinduism. The Hinduism says that Vasudeva Kutamkum, which means that the whole world is one single family. The same message has been given by Sikhism, the Christianity, the Judaism, the Buddhism, and all other religions. When our children will come to know that the basic message of each and every religion is the same, then naturally our children will start to respect the other religion also, and then only peace and communal harmony can be established. And if we want development through religion, development through religion can only be guaranteed if we, the religious leaders, make sure that we do not only give speeches in such conferences on the topic of interfaith dialogue or on communal harmony, but we also give the same speeches, the same, we tell our followers all those same things in our masjid, in our mandirs, and in our religious occasion also.
My dear brothers and sisters, the current scenario of our country challenges us. For the one hand, the world looks at us as a country making gigantic leaps in development, and on the other hand, a country is fashioned by religious intolerance.
Many of the people have given, many of these great personalities have given their lives in the past. And he talked about the soldiers that keep our country safe. He talked about our being able to sleep in the night with peace and comfort. And that there is no prejudice as to who is a Jawan and who is not a Jawan. We then had Maulana Sahib from Islam, and he talked about development being guaranteed only when there is peace and harmony, and even when following our own religions, we should be true followers of those teachings.
The session was led for the open forum. Dr. Iraj Abedianan, Chief Executive Officer, Pan American Social Rights from South Africa, spoke on science, religion, and the economy, where material and spiritual forces meet.
Either consciously or unconsciously, you are subjected to science, religion, and the economy. Let me begin by suggesting that any economic activity, whether you're producing goods, whether providing services, whether you're a single person service provider or a massive multinational producer, you have practically where science and moral values meet. Science is what? It's about discovery of doing something more cleverly, more efficiently, and in a more novel way. Business takes that idea and turns it into goods and services. For example, all of you are sitting with cell phones here just about. My grandmother didn't know what it is. And I didn't know up until 15 years ago. Today I can't do without it. And our children will never know what the old phone was like. You've all forgotten what telex means. And tomorrow, and maybe next year, you'll forget what a cell phone is. I can assure you this is just the beginning, not the end. And by the way, this is not a new process. Ever since our parents, our forefathers in the caves, the best they could do was do hunter-gatherer type of subsistence. They would go out, mostly men, because of their physicality. They would go out the best they could, catch something for eating. And then many times they would come home hungry.
A presentation was made by Padma Shri Dr. Janak Palta McGilligan, a social worker and environmentalist, on empowerment of local people with appropriate technology to accomplish sustainable developmental goals.
In this gathering, I do not really feel the need to list those because I have a limited time, and I know that you all know about that. Whatever I'm going to say and share with you is based on my 32 years of learning while serving as a Baha'i pioneer in Central India. First of all, at Burli Development Institute for Rural Women in Indore, Jimmy McGilligan Center for Sustainable Development, Javik Setu, and Solar Cookers International. These are the 4 institutions where I served since 1985. And I'll just go through quickly first what I think is appropriate technologies and how important it is to empower people or train people how to use those technologies. Appropriate technology, to my understanding, is affordable, sustainable, and it has a positive impact on the lives of people and all the ecosystems now and for generations to come. Now, one part is technology. What I learned personally, that technology in itself is no good unless the users know how to use it and making sustainable choices. That just now all of you have heard in such a wonderful manner by Professor Iraj Abadian. It's all about making choices, but sustainable choices to me means listening to our inner voice, understanding, being aware of purpose of life and understanding the purpose of life, and sustaining our relationship with the Creator and all His creations. We all know what are His creations, and we human beings, animal kingdom, vegetation and minerals, and all the 5 elements we talk every day about our relationship.
I'd like to thank the lady we just heard, Padma Shri Dr. Janak Palta McGilligan, and from her we heard these wonderfully inspiring stories from her life and from the incredible work she's been doing at the grassroots level to implement these sustainable development goals in practice. So we see how these goals set by the international community are implemented at the ground level in the villages, in the rural areas of this country. Absolutely remarkable. I'd like to thank Dr. Iraj Abedian, who has come here from South Africa. He pointed out to us how our whole economic structure is, of course, defined by moral views of how we want our society to be governed, and those in turn are informed not only by science, but of course also by religion, and therefore religion plays a strong role in development. I'd like to thank Ms. Tahiri Danesh, who has come here from the United Kingdom.
The final day of the conference began by the school prayer.
I bear witness, oh my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify that this moment to my Father's list and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy will. There is none other God but thee, the help in peril, the self-sustaining. Oh God, guide me, protect me. Oh God, guide me, protect me. Illumine the lamp of my heart. Illumine the lamp of my heart. And make me a brilliant star. And make me a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. Blessed is the small and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God had been made, and His praise glorified.
Grace binds you with far stronger cords than the cords of duty or obligation can bind you. The love and grace of God is given to everyone individual. It's up to you to reveal it.
Blessed is the small and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God had been made, and His praise
Animators or the students of the Junior Youth Empowerment Program of Gomtinagar First
They can find their
Campus
own partners.
made a presentation.
Then I think we should discuss it with Kittu.
Yeah, sure. Kittu?
Kittu? Yes, Mama, did you call me? Have you thought of any eligible bachelors for marriage? क्यों? शादी वादी नहीं करोगी क्या?
Actually, I wanted to talk about Akash with you. Like, we met last year in an old age home. He's really nice guy. I really like him.
What do his parents do?
His mother is a professor and his father is a doctor.
And what does the boy himself do?
He's studying like me.
Okay.
I think we should go and talk to his family.
I think we should go and talk to his family then.
No. I mean, you can't talk to his family. His parents, no.
नहीं मानेंगे उसके पेरेंट्स?
Actually, Akash Adumbu tribe का है.
What are you saying?
Do you even know what you're talking about? The Adumbus have burned down villages upon villages of the Congo people.
उन्होंने हमारे कितने फैमिलीज को मारा है, कितने लोगों को मारा है. तुम्हें पता है तुम क्या बोल रही हो?
You're a disgrace. Get lost from here.
गौर से देखिए इस चेहरे को.
यही है वो रानी देवी जिनके गैर कानूनी देसी शराब के ठेके आज पकड़े गए. इनके शराब के ठेकों पे बिकने वाली शराब जहरीली थी, जिससे कई लोगों की मौत हुई.
दर्शकों को याद दिला दे, ये वही रानी देवी है जिन पे हाल ही में तीन सरकारी कर्मचारियों के कत्ल का भी इल्जाम लगा था. Is this the kind of government that we want?
To keep yourself updated, keep watching Farzi News.
रानी देवी, आपने देखा आपके बारे में मीडिया में क्या आ रहा है?
हाँ, मुझे पता है क्या हो रहा है मीडिया पे मेरे बारे में. Do something about it. Save my reputation. I can't go down like that.
रेप्यूटेशन की चिंता आप मत कीजिए, मीडिया को हम संभाल लेंगे.
But who'll vote for me?
कोंगो और अडुम्बू में वैसे ही झगड़ा चल रहा है. हम इस लड़ाई का फायदा उठा सकते हैं.
Then go do something then. भाइयों और बहनों, सालों से कुंगू हमारे ऊपर हर तरह के अत्याचार करते आ रहे हैं. हमारी महिलाओं और बच्चों पे हर तरह का शोषण किया गया है. Who is going to bring the change? I will. मुझे वोट दीजिए and देखिए कि मैं बदलाव कैसे लाती हूँ. The change has to begin and it will begin with us.
Hey guys, look, I have found a beautiful quote. Oh yeah, the devil on earth. The religion of God is for love and unity. Make it not the cause of enmity or dissension.
That's a really nice quote.
बेगम हामिदा हबीबुल्ला, आपके हस्बैंड जनरल थे आर्मी में, मेजर जनरल थे, और आपकी बहुत बड़ी स्टेट है लखनऊ के अंदर, और आप हमेशा मदद करती रही हैं. लॉरेटो कॉन्वेंट की आप चेयरमैन रही हैं, शायद अभी भी हैं, अवध गर्ल्स की, और आप लखनऊ की कम से कम भी 100 से ज़्यादा संस्थाओं की सदस्य रही हैं, अभी भी बहुतों की हैं. आपके बेटे जो हैं वो एम्बेसडर थे, एम्बेसडर ऑफ इंडिया इन USA. आप वजारत IAS हैं, और उनके भी बेटे कल यहाँ आए थे.
Professor Siraj Khan from Bangladesh spoke on the convergence of Sharia and international law, prospects for the constitutional protection of freedom of opinion and belief in Islamic states.
I'm going to talk about the convergence of Sharia and international law. As you know, in the last few years, the topic of the Sharia has gained in importance, particularly in countries in the Middle East that apply the Sharia to some extent in their legal systems. Because I'm legally qualified, I will try to keep the legal jargon and terminology to a minimum, but please do let me know if there's something which I have glossed over. The topics that I'm going to discuss are basically the role of religion in development from the perspective of the Sharia and international law, and I will try to focus on the freedom of opinion and belief in constitutional texts. And there is a good reason for this. As you will know, also in the Constitution of India, which is one of the largest constitutions in the world, along with the Constitution of South Africa, both constitutions give a lot of precedence to the sources of the law and also to human rights protections. And they're both hailed as models of protection of fundamental rights, actually. South African one being the most recent one, but also the Indian Constitution has a good section in it about fundamental rights protections. But I will compare this with some other constitutions in the Middle East, and then I will focus on some of the topics which Dr. Gandhi had mentioned this morning about to what extent does Islamic law impede on, or to what extent can it assist in the protection of fundamental rights, and particularly on the freedom of expression and opinion, and the freedom of opinion, belief and religion, which are all related to each other. So I'll start with giving a quick overview of the kind of issues that are currently at play. And here we have international law plays a large part in this. Professor Brown also mentioned that there is this idea of constitutional migrations or constitutional ideas being shared between constitutions in different countries, legislative systems also mimicking one another, or taking ideas from one another and spreading that around. Modern international law has changed quite drastically over the past century, and some have claimed that in contrast to this, Islamic law has served as almost a monolithic block of laws that are derived from revelation over a millennium old, with little or no relevance to today's societies, and one that is perhaps poorly suited to the modern institutional and international legal framework. Therefore, the question that this dilemma begs is quite a simple one. Can a state whose legal system requires adherence to and compliance with Islamic laws discharge all its obligations under international law properly? This is the question. And the question could be restructured to be more probing, to ask whether Islamic law obfuscates or prevents international law, and specific to the topic of this conference, whether it can assist at all in reinforcing the freedom of opinion, belief and expression, and therefore contribute to interfaith harmony. And when we look at this, I've tried to be clever with my graphics here. What I understand, the way that international law works with local, both domestic legal systems, but also with religious legal systems, is perhaps best explained in a tripartite schematic. The first tier of this schematic requires an assessment as to whether a general international legal obligation exists for a state, either through unilateral, bilateral, or multilateral treaty obligations. So the question here is there an international legal obligation for a state to act in a certain way? And this is the first marker that requires a positive determination to then go on to the next ones. And particularly when we want to understand the dynamics between, or the contradictions or compliance between Islamic law and international law, we have to first ask whether there is an obligation on the state to actually implement any international legal principles. If there is no international legal obligation, then the question of compatibility with Islamic law is just academic. The second tier requires an assessment of whether the Muslim majority state or the Islamic state, or the state which applies Islamic law, has accepted these obligations. There is an idea in international law about reservations and declarations. So when a state signs up to a treaty, an international treaty, they can also enter a reservation to limit the extent to which they abide by provisions of that treaty. This is something which gets very technical, but at this point I just want to leave it to say whether the Islamic law, the Islamic state has actually accepted the international legal obligations. Does it accept, for example, that it must give the freedom of opinion to its citizens?
Brought it as a legal binding, there should be one man, one wife. Do you know something about that, please?
Thank you for your question. I don't know that this law has been passed. I know it was being discussed at the time, but I don't think this law has actually been passed at the moment. But Judge Adil might know better. Nonetheless, Tunisia has been in the forefront of many other legal reforms as well as Morocco. in those countries that I do know of that have put restrictions on the marriage of one man to one wife, this is not done on the basis of that principle of being treated or the man would not be able to treat them fairly, but rather it's done on the principle of a macro level equality, that men should not be able to marry more than one wife because one woman cannot marry more than one man. So this is the justification on a kind of macro equality level, but this is, I think, one of the issues. There are many issues, and I hope I'm not being too critical here, but I do accept that there will be some things in Islamic law which will not comply with international legal principles. Very few, very limited, but I think there is a risk of that. And this depends on what version of Islamic law you're applying or you want to apply, which school of law you want to apply, and also the extent of education in the country of these issues. I mean, even if until today, there is a law on the books in England which allows a man to marry one wife and have a mistress lawfully at the same time. So you can have one wife and a mistress, and you can register them by law. That law is on the books currently.
A presentation by the animators from the CMS Gomti Nagar second campus.
Universal education is universal law. Well, the question arises that what exactly is a Junior Youth Empowerment Program? It is a program set up in different countries to empower the youth. Junior youth is the age between 12 to 15, in which our body not only grows physically but also mentally. We face problems in choice making, decision making, and yes, in this competitive world, coping up with the forces of society is a little bit difficult. When I came in this school, I was a very shy student. In class 8, I joined a service project of this program titled Primary Teaching. In this, we went to class 1st and 2nd and learned important lessons, had activities, played games. It was a wonderful experience of my life. In class 9th, I changed my identity as an animator for the Junior Youth Empowerment Program. I had my group of 10 to 15 students and I titled them as Glittering Doves.
What the future generation thinks about it. We would like to hear what you think about loving kindness. Would you like to share some of your thoughts and opinions with us? Just raise your hands if you want.
Well, I am Professor Viren Goswami. First thing, I congratulate you people. You are very confident and very nice and wonderful communication people have.
Thank you.
I just give in one answer that loving and kindness, they are just the two sides of the same coin. You cannot be loving if you are not kind. You have to be kind, you have to be loving. So it's a both sides of one coin. But this all will you achieve when you do your righteous duty, karma or action. Without that action, nothing will you achieve. And that's the hard work which will help you to be kind. When you achieve something in your life, you become successful, then automatically kindness comes. And when you become an achiever, you are loved by everybody. It's like that.
Mr. Roshan Gandhi Faruhi, Director of Strategy CMS, was the chairperson for the session in which Ambassador Ashok Sajanhar spoke on role of spiritual principles in the area of governance.
So first on religion, I think it has been briefly mentioned that it's a man-made concept, it's a man-made device, man-created instrument. Different religions have appeared at different times, at different places in the world to respond to different challenges. The end products have been dictated and shaped by the social, cultural, political, economic situations of the place. So all these religions have been different. It would be impractical and futile to suggest that since all religions speak about one God, they should forget their differences and merge into one. The more practical approach would be to recognize the differences, not to paper over them, not to push them under the carpet, but to focus on the similarities.
Dr. M.D. Thomas on making an inclusive society, the role of religion.
And society is a collection of individuals and groups. Society is a collection of families, communities, and nations. We have no business to divide it in any way. Being inclusive would mean to be true to the social character we all bear. It means interacting with one another as families, individuals, communities, nations, and the like. To be inclusive would mean being open and to engage with the other, whoever we consider the other to engage with. And the development in this line doesn't mean having the latest mobile or the bullet train. Development will more qualitatively mean to grow to higher and larger proportions. Development would mean being more inclusive within oneself, which becomes a culture in the society. Development would mean to get empowered oneself and empowering the society, and being inclusive in one's approach in life would mean development in sum total. Religion as a phenomenon, perhaps the most complex phenomenon in our life, it can be good or bad depending on how we use it.
Mr. Mithaq Kazmi on responsible media, the role of religion.
Media and technology, and see where we can get in the next 5-10 minutes that we have. So I think there are mics over there, yes? I like dialogues, so this is a good way to have a dialogue rather than monologue. So are the mics there? Do we have any first questions from the students? Yes? All right, good. All the hands going in there. Oh my God, I can't choose. Okay. Oh, it's too hard to choose. So many hands. No hands are going up. Okay, there it is. 2, 3 in the back right there. Give it to him. All right.
Where is technology gonna take us?
Great question. I don't have the answer.
That's good, but I need an answer from you.
You need an answer.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the questions I wrote based on your question is that technology plays such a pivotal role in our lives, like nothing like it before, right? So, and it's becoming to claim, what did I write? Yes. Every day, more and more, it's claiming to actually give our lives meaning. So one of the questions I wrote even was, is technology replacing faith, religion? If religion is to give meaning in life, right? That's one thought for you. I don't have an answer. Technology is at such a young and nascent age that I think it's very hard to draw any conclusions as to where it's going and what it's doing. However, one of the questions that were asked in the paper was about the understanding the role of both material and spiritual tools that we have in life, and understanding what each one is there for and not mixing it up. So I think technology is a great material tool for connecting humans, for propagating thoughts, but it cannot necessarily replace spiritual tools. Thank you. All right, next question.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, dear.
What do you think that how is technology replacing religion in nowadays?
That was my question, dear. Yes, that's for you to think.
But I want an answer.
You want an answer.
Yeah.
How is technology
Replacing religion nowadays?
Great question. So have you seen any advertisement now for smartphones?
Yeah, we have.
Yes,
Many
what are they
advertisements.
claiming?
Good battery and nice selfies, games, storage.
All right, and how much time do you spend on that cell phone per day?
Actually, I'm in class 10, so I don't use cell phones.
You don't use cell phones right
No.
now? Okay, all right, well, soon you will. So if you've seen a lot of the advertisements now, even in with all the apps that they come built in,